Taylor Swift leaves BC Place Stadium after her final show in Vancouver. Taylor Swift officially took the stage for her final show of her Vancouver tour. However, after the concert ended, Taylor Swift waved to her fans before leaving. The pop star, 34, took the stage at BC Place in Vancouver, Canada, on Sunday, December 8th, which marked her last show of the tour. In a poignant moment, Swift performed a 3-song mashup for Sunday's surprise song, giving lucky fans a rendition of Love Story mixed with New Year's Day and the Midnight's 3 a.m. edition bonus track, The Great War. As one fan pointed out via X, her final surprise song on the Eras tour was rather fitting. First surprise song, Tim McGraw. Last surprise song, The Great War. The first and last songs of her discography. Swift also paid homage to her long-running tour by changing the lyrics of Long Live from "It was the end of a decade" to "It was the end of an era / but the start of an age." Closing out the show, Swift thanked fans for being a part of the most thrilling chapter of my life to date, my beloved Eras tour. The pop star then segued into one last song, Karma, lifted from 2022's Midnights, and, as she has done throughout the tour, gave a little shout-out to her boyfriend, Travis Kelce, by singing, "Karma is the guy on the Chiefs." Swift kicked off the Eras tour in Glendale, Arizona, in March 2023, performing throughout the United States until August 2023. The singer then embarked on the international leg of the tour, making stops in South America, Asia, Australia, and Europe from November 2023 to August 2024. In October, Swift returned to North America for a handful of final shows in the US and Canada. In total, Swift performed 149 sold-out concerts across 5 continents over the course of nearly 2 years, making the Eras tour the highest-grossing tour of all time. Swift previously opened up to Time in December 2023 about her mission to super-serve the fans with her biggest tour ever. The 3.5-hour concert took attendees through her musical eras via a massive 45-song setlist which, after the April release of Midnight's 3 a.m. edition, included hits from her latest album and a cameo from her NFL star boyfriend. They had to work really hard to get the tickets, she explained at the time. I wanted to play a show that was longer than they ever thought it would be, because that makes me feel good. Leaving the stadium, Swift gushed that the Eras tour made her the most fulfilled I've ever felt in my life. I know I'm going on that stage whether I'm sick, injured, heartbroken, uncomfortable, or stressed, she added. That's part of my identity as a human being now. If someone buys a ticket to my show, I'm going to play it unless we have some sort of force majeure. In June, Swift confirmed that the tour would come to an end in December, calling the venture the most exhausting, all-encompassing, but most joyful, most rewarding, most wonderful thing that has ever happened in my life. I think that this tour has really become my entire life, she continued. It's taken over everything. I think I once had hobbies, but I don't know what they were anymore. All I do when I'm not on stage is sit at home and try to think of clever acoustic song mashups and think about what you might want to hear. Amid her record-breaking tour, Swift achieved a bevy of professional accomplishments, including the chart-topping releases of her 11th studio album, Midnight's 3 a.m. edition, which inspired her to revamp her entire show to include the new music and her re-recordings of Speak Now, Taylor's version, and 1989, Taylor's version. Additionally, she ensured that the tour will live on for years to come through her concert film. Swift has also dealt with several changes in her personal life since the Eras tour began, with the most notable being her relationship with Kelce, 35, which began after he attended one of her concerts in the summer of 2023. Taylor Swift rounded the sides of her massive stage, arms outstretched, in her magenta shawl. The last notes of her final Eras tour concert, an entry into the luminous history of her career. Clasping hands with her backup singers and dancers, she concluded, "The most beloved chapter of my life." She said Sunday night was also one of the most memorable excursions in pop music history, doing it, as usual, her way. No guests, no extra songs, just Swift in the spotlight, swapping love with her fans like a musical friendship bracelet. She took the crowd on one last grand adventure, which she said has been shared with more than 10 million people since her live extravaganza began. Throughout the show, Swift was as much a consummate professional as she was a sweetheart, hitting her marks with fierce precision and then mouthing, "I love you," to her backup dancers at the end of You Belong With Me. Swift's farewell, the 149th performance on her billion-dollar-earning Eras tour that has spanned 5 continents and 51 cities, arrived at Vancouver's BC Place Stadium with the same engrossing mix of precise songcraft, spiffy production, and cool glam as when she first unveiled her live opus 21 months ago in Glendale, Arizona. That night, jaws dropped at the realization that when Swift said she planned to present all of the musical eras in her then 17-year career, she didn't mean a 3 to 4 hour mix of medleys. No, Swift's genius concept, and the ultimate reward to steadfast enthusiasts who catapulted her from successful country pop star to the mega of stars, was a carefully constructed 3.5 hour career overview unlike anything ever seen on a concert stage. "I've never done this many shows," Swift admitted during her 3 sold-out, as usual, nights of the Canadian conclusion. "But you guys have made it such a wonderful experience." Swift's easy accessibility, one of her most endearing traits, was on display Sunday from the moment she greeted fans with her usual, "Oh, hi," and a red lipstick grin. Between the opening salvo of Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince and #1 hit Cruel Summer, fan ovations were frequent and lengthy. Not that there haven't been outpourings of unconditional adoration at every show. Whenever she bats her cat-eye-lined eyes or tilts her head with a combination of gratitude and amusement, but the sustained roar at the end of Champagne Problems, as Swift sat behind her moss-covered piano, bangs damp against her forehead, was nearly as long as the 4-minute song. With an odd expression and misty eyes, Swift marveled at the waves of oral affection, taking out her ear monitors to fully experience the overwhelming sound. After reminding the crowd of the dedication of her band and crew, Swift smiled and thanked the crowd. "We will never forget you guys giving us that moment," she said. Swift teared up a few times, keenly aware that tonight meant the last black hat she'd bestow on a lucky kid's head during 22 and her final opportunity to playfully waggle her hips in a short sequin skirt to shake it off. The 9 eras of Swift's show captivated with their own personalities. The vengeful red and black snake motif of Reputation and its snarling, "Look What You Made Me Do," and the monochrome Hollywood glam of Midnight's 3 a.m. edition, a May edition after she dropped the 30-track album in April, with its stoic drumline during the Great War and the visceral discotheque that is I Can See You, Taylor's version. Feat the 1975. Among the highlights, but the portion of the Eras tour that has captivated fans of Swift's immense catalog and spurred repeated attendances, regardless of ticket price, is her surprise songs, one on acoustic guitar and one behind her flower-decorated piano. At Saturday's penultimate show, Swift welcomed protege and show opener Gracie Abrams to share the spotlight for a mashup of I Bet You Think About Me, Taylor's version, From the Vault, and Last Kiss, which ended with tight hugs between the friends. Taylor Swift has finally revealed why she kept extending her Eras tour. Ahead of her final show in Vancouver, Canada, on Saturday, November 7th, one day before wrapping her tour, the 34-year-old pop sensation thanked her fans for making the Eras tour a wonderful experience. "This is the most fun, joyful, exciting, intense, powerful, and wonderful tour I have ever done. And that's all because of the way that you have treated it," she told the crowd on night 2 of her concerts in the Rain City, per a video posted on X. The Bad Blood hitmaker continued, "There's a reason why this is my longest tour I've ever done. I've never played this many shows on a tour before, and it's just because I really never wanted it to end, because you guys have made it into such a wonderful experience for all of us on stage." Taylor also lauded Swifties for creating their own traditions, including making and trading friendship bracelets with each other. "I wrote one line in a song that mentions making friendship bracelets, and I show up to the first show of the Eras tour, and you guys made friendship bracelets, you're trading friendship bracelets, you're making friends, and now I feel like friendship bracelets. You've kind of made that idea synonymous with the Eras tour," she said. "That's a pretty wild thing you can do." And that's just one of the things Travis Kelce's girlfriend added for Vancouver and Taylor Swift fans around the world, basking in the afterglow of the final performance of the pop mega star's record-smashing Eras tour. The answer is yes, it's over. The Cruel Summer star took to the Eras tour stage for the last time on Sunday night in a sold-out BC Place Stadium, telling fans she was getting to spend the last night of the Eras tour with 60,000 people in Vancouver. After performing the 3-hour-plus show for more than 10 million fans globally, the last performance was also watched by millions on live streams around the world. Vancouver, I want to thank every single one of you for being part of the most thrilling chapter of my entire life to date, my beloved Eras tour, Swift said near the end of the night. Over the course of its 149-show, 20-month run, the Eras tour became nothing short of a glittery global cultural phenomenon. It generated revenue estimated by music industry publication Pollstar at more than $2 billion US, a concert movie that raked in $261 million US at the box office, and a book that was the biggest publishing launch of 2024. There has never, ever been a concert tour like this, and along the way, Swift became the first entertainer named Time Person of the Year. Swift told the audience on Sunday that the legacy of the Eras tour is that you have created such a space of joy and togetherness and love. I couldn't be more proud of you. Cities in 19 countries around the world fell under the Eras spell. Tourism officials say 6 shows in Toronto last month brought in $282 million in economic activity and an estimated $157 million to Vancouver, where landmarks were draped with giant friendship bracelets and the iconic Gastown steam clock was retuned to play Shake It Off. But for fans, the tour was about more than numbers. It was about the connection to each other and Swift, who made her entrance from under the Eras stage for the last time to the chords of Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince, dressed in a shimmering blue and gold bodysuit as snow like confetti fell. During Swift's 10-minute version of All Too Well, many fans were in tears as they sang along throughout Sunday's performance. There were nods to the sense of closure during her acoustic set. Swift changed the lyrics of Long Live from End of a Decade to End of an Era. Dancer Cam Saunders had earlier told Swift for the last time, "No," in response to the familiar refrain of "We are never ever getting back together." Among the overwhelmingly female crowd on Sunday was Cindy San, who cut short a holiday in Hawaii and flew back to her hometown of Vancouver on the morning of the performance after her father won show tickets in a contest. "I may just cry," said Sam before the show, draped in giant homemade friendship bracelets, a sparkly blue dress, and white cowboy boots. "I just peaked. Nothing gets better than this." Dominic Silek from Chicago, Illinois, had started the tour with Swift at her first show in Glendale, Arizona, in March 2023, and was there on Sunday at the end. In between, the 23-year-old saw another 16 Eras shows, including performances in Japan and Australia. "I'm at a loss for words," Silek said after the show, his arms wrapped in 300 friendship bracelets collected on his epic Eras journey. "I'm happy. I think it's come to a good conclusion, but I'm very emotional." Outside the stadium, which was surrounded by barricades, crowds had gathered near the Terry Fox Memorial to listen and sing along for free under the watch of a heavy police presence. Stadium officials warned ticketless fans to stay away, but on all 3 nights, crowds had gathered, part of a global phenomenon known as tailgating. Also singing along were fans watching the numerous unofficial live streams of the performance. One on YouTube was watched by about 300,000 people. Swifties who descended on downtown Vancouver included celebrities like rapper Flavor Flav, the Public Enemy hype man, who said on social media he was on his way from Los Angeles to take over on a flight full of Swifties ahead of Sunday's show. BC singer Michael Bublé was handing out friendship bracelets on night 1, also attended by Swift's parents, while Canuck Jake DeBrusque was at Saturday's show, according to a social media post and photo by his girlfriend. Bublé said on Instagram that he and his family witnessed something last night that we've never experienced before and, frankly, may never experience again. Taylor is truly an incredible entertainer. His daughters were in awe of Taylor. "We are grateful to have seen the Eras tour, and in our very own hometown." Swift has reciprocated fans' feelings, telling the audience on Friday night that she chose Canada and Vancouver to close out the tour because the fans not only know the lyrics, they scream them. Swifties have been planning something special to end the tour, and during the 3-minute standing ovation for Champagne Problems, there were chants of happy birthday for Swift, who turns 35 on December 13th. Fan projects like this have been a big part of the Eras tour, with chants and pattern clapping breaking out during various songs. University of Kansas sociology professor and Swiftie Brian Donovan says such moments of joyous social solidarity are known as collective effervescence. What is interesting about the Eras Tour is that it also brought about unique cultural things like the trading of friendship bracelets. He said, noting such practices were fan-driven and were not organized by Swift or her team. A fashion focus has also been central to the tour experience, with devotees dressed in outfits reflecting their favorite eras by Swift, who would make about 16 costume changes per show. Langley, British Columbia, resident Vivian Strinko, attending her second Eras Tour show, looked around the arena on Sunday and gestured to the hundreds of other fans dressed in glittering costumes. It's such girlhood to see everyone so dressed up. The 17-year-old wore a silver suit dress paired with sparkly boots and inspired by Swift's The Man said. Canada was announced as a late addition to the tour last year. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau had previously pleaded with the star on social media to visit Canada, telling her, "Don't make it another cruel summer." Trudeau and family members were among Swifties at the Toronto shows, as were former U.S. President Bill Clinton and his wife, former U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Many fans have been expecting a big announcement at Sunday's final show, perhaps another album re-release, but in the end, there were none. During Midnight Rain, when Swift had lately been counting down the shows, she lowered her last finger and waved to the crowd, signaling the end was nigh. After fireworks and confetti erupted from the stage, there was a group hug with her backup performers before she took her final bow, then ran off stage laughing. The Eras Tour may be over, but there may be another way to relive it in the works. A camera crew was seen recording Swift's 3 performances in Vancouver, raising fan hopes of another concert movie. Sunday's closure, the culmination of so much emotion and so much connection with her fans, almost 60,000 at each Vancouver date, hit the perfect note. Saying she wanted to go back to the beginning, Swift offered the mashup of A Place in This World from her 2006 debut album and New Romantics from 1989 on guitar. But feelings heightened with a gorgeous piano trilogy of Long Live, Speak Now, New Year's Day, Reputation, and The Great War, Midnight's 3 a.m. edition. The chorus, Hold On to the Memories, resonated deeply in the stadium as Swift closed her eyes and threw her head back as she played. Though happy tears were to be expected as Swift said goodbye, she isn't the type of performer to pull an Adele and disappear for a few years. Yes, she has a seemingly thriving personal life with NFL star Travis Kelce and deserves a break after a thoroughly exhausting schedule for nearly 2 years, really 3, as she noted from the stage, given the year of prep time and rehearsals. The dedication was worth it, Swift told Sunday's crowd, because you have created such a space for joy and togetherness and love. But Swift is too ambitious, too prolific, too fond of sharing her words and music with fans who manage to present new levels of adoration the more she leaves it all on the stage for them. Even though this marathon has ended, it feels as if another race will soon approach the starting line. An emotional Taylor Swift hailed the unparalleled support of her fans during the final night of her Juggernaut Eras Tour in Canada. The U.S. pop superstar rounded off her record-breaking tour with her third and final night at BC Place in Vancouver, having begun her mammoth string of dates in March last year. After completing her track, Champagne Problems, from the Evermore album, Swift took out her earpieces to soak up the ovation before fans took the opportunity to wish her a happy birthday ahead of her 35th birthday on Friday. Swift appeared emotional as she bowed her head and absorbed the applause for several minutes before describing the tour as the adventure of a lifetime. I just wanted to say, on behalf of all of us, we will never forget you giving us that moment, she said. Swift also became sentimental ahead of the 10-minute version of her track, All Too Well, praising her fans for their traditions, passion, and the way you care about this tour. It is unparalleled. The lasting legacy of this tour is that you have created such a space of joy and togetherness and love, and I couldn't be more proud of you, she said. The tour, which is estimated to have taken in around $2 billion, $1.6 billion in ticket sales, takes fans through Swift's back catalog, including hits from albums 1989, Red, Midnights, and her latest chart-topping 11th studio album, Midnight's 3 a.m. edition. It has been the most exciting, powerful, electrifying, intense, most challenging thing I have ever done in my entire life, Swift said as she opened the final 3-hour show. "We have gotten to perform for over 10 million people on this tour, and tonight we get to play one last show for you tonight in beautiful Vancouver." The Canadian show was filled with elaborate production, multiple costume changes, and a set list that spanned dozens of songs. Opening for Swift for the final time, U.S. star Gracie Abrams told fans, "I'm not ready for it to be over," in a pre-prepared speech. Abrams praised Swift's music as well as her generosity, curiosity, her wild and unparalleled pen, her superpower of seeing into our lives and creating soundtracks for every single formative moment that we've had, that we will have. Among the stars at the show were musician Ed Sheeran.